Happened. It's happened to all of us at some point. Well, maybe not all of us, but there it is. You go to open the door, take the trash out, bring the groceries in, and your cat darts between your legs and is gone. What do you do? Oh no. This cat's never been outside before. This cat doesn't even know what's out there, doesn't know what to expect. Oh, no, it's my child's cat. It's my mom's cat. It's something. What do you do? Well, it doesn't matter how good of a cat parent you are, how much experience you have, how many years, how many cats you have. At some point, it's going to happen because cats are wily. So, what do we do? So, I'm Penny, and this is Cat Chat with me. I am not the cat named Penny. I am Penny, the person. Although I appreciate Penny the cat. And I run Mew Mew House, which is a retirement home and hospice for cats. And this week, I did have a cat get out, and it was horrible. So, reflecting on that, I've had a lot of cats get out. I wanted to talk a little bit about what you can do if your cat gets out and how you can handle it. Before I get started, I do like to ask everyone, poll the audience, hey, where are you watching from? Are you watching this live or on replay? I am broadcasting right now according to the little menu there. I am broadcasting right now on LinkedIn, on my YouTube channel, Cat Chat with Penny, also broadcasting in the private group Cat Chat with Penny in Facebook, and also Mew Mew House on Facebook, which is a page which is public. So, if you're watching for wherever you are, say hello. I might not be able to see it right away, but that's okay. So, what do we do? The cat got out and is gone. So, I've had lots of experiences with cats getting out, and there are several possible scenarios. The scariest ones are when they get out and then they run away and you try to chase them, which is of course a mistake because cat's already stressed out and you're chasing the cat going, come back. Yeah, that's not going to work. I've also had them when they go outside and they're like, this is not where I want to be, and they turn around and come right back in, and everything in between. But let's talk about the scenario where the cat runs off and is gone, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Well, the first thing I have to tell you to do is don't panic. I mean, to quote Hitchhiker's Guide, don't panic. Make sure you have a towel. Anyway, panicking doesn't actually fix anything. All right. I mean, yes, when the cat initially gets out, and if you know when it got out and which direction it went, then by all means, go and look around. Call quietly for the cat. Don't scream. Please don't scream. What cat wants to be screamed at? So just calmly walk around, look for the kitty. If the kitty's disappeared, you take a deep breath and you say, okay, this cat was fine when it left my house. It will be fine. You go back inside. So then what do you do? Well, the first thing I usually do is make sure there's especially water, especially this time of year. But even in the winter, you want to make sure there's liquid water for the cat. So make sure there's water out and food. Now you're going to want to monitor this somehow, um, depending on your what you have available to you. But you want to monitor this to see if the cat is actually eating or drinking. If you have other animals, they might be taking advantage of it. So figure out how you can monitor that by peeking out the window once in a while, or we'll get into more details in a bit. But first, I would set out food and water because if it's just a skittish cat who's a little scared, it might get hungry and come back for something to eat. And then problem solved. Kitty comes back, pick up kitty, go back inside. That doesn't always work. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is that maybe kitty doesn't want to come back. I mean, when I had a cat get out this week, she did not want to come back. She was scared. She was already a skittish cat. So you have to deal with the uncomfortable reality that maybe they've run so far, they don't know where home is, and maybe they just don't want to come back. So the next step, after you've had food and water out for a while, and I usually do this, for the day if they get out early in the day, or just do it overnight if they got out late in the day. But 12 hours ish or so. And then if you're not seeing them coming back for that, then you take the next step, which is what everybody always suggests, is to put out a litter box and actually go ahead and put out one that's been used. If there's poop and pee in it, that's perfect because you want it to smell like home. So you put out something where you can observe it that smells just like home. And yes, again, other animals may be interested in it, but for the most part, what it'll do is hopefully draw your cat back. And it'll be like, oh, and then if you still have food and water out, which you should, then Kitty's gonna be like, oh, this smells familiar. Oh, look, something to eat. All right, this is great. Now don't put the food right next to the litter box because cats don't want to eat where they poop. So, have them separated, but the smell can bring the cat in and then have food and water available to them. Now, if it gets to be sort of an overnight deal, at this point, I don't start making posters at this point. I wouldn't do that. But I would tell my neighbors. With this great technology that we have these days with our cell phones, you're able, presumably you have your neighbors' numbers or can contact them on Facebook Messenger or something. So you shoot them a message and say, my cat got out. If you have a picture, all the better. Send them a picture. And then you just say, the cat got out. I'm worried. If you see Kitty, let me know. Depending on the personality of the cat and the personality of your neighbors, you could encourage them to grab the cat. Some cats will allow themselves to be grabbed. Um, the case of the one of mine that got out this week, no, she isn't going to let anybody touch her. So all I wanted my neighbors to do was just let me know if they saw her. All right, and let them know that there's this other cat, and what the kitty looks like. So if you can send a picture, great. If not, then you just describe the cat because they may have a camera as well, and they can let you know. Oh, we saw your cat last night at 2 in the morning. So, and what that's for, it's as much so you can keep tabs on the cat, but it also makes you feel better. Because honestly, when a cat gets out, usually it's not, it doesn't generally just vanish, okay, and then disappear into the ether. I've had that experience. I've lost cats this way, so it does happen. But for the most part, if you just have kind of a scaredy cat, it's just hiding out. Keep in mind also that cats oftentimes are pretty, they sort of hunker down and sleep most of the day. So if it's the middle of the day and it's hot, don't be surprised that you don't see the cat coming back. All right. Don't worry about that. It's usually in the early morning or the evening or overnight when you're going to see a cat. So be prepared for that. All right. So the next thing you're going to do then, you've done it, you've told your neighbors, you've got your litter box out, you've got food and water out, then you wait. Now this is where we come to the place where if you have the option, if you have cameras, like the motion detection cameras, like not spy cameras, but security cameras. That's what I'm looking for. One of my security cameras is called spy camera. Um, I have security cameras. They're little Arlo things that you can move them around. And if I have a cat that's gotten out, I will put the cameras and aim them in the vicinity of where I have the food in the litter box, so that if the cat comes around at night when I'm asleep, I will see it. And this actually came true with my recent escape. I knew she was around because I saw her several nights in a row. But so that's handy to have. But while you're waiting, that's great. If it gets to be, I mean, depending on the health of your cat, whether or not you've seen the cat, have any evidence the cat is around. If you don't have cameras, I mean, that's a little frustrating, but you can still manage. Um, the next thing I recommend, if it's been a couple of days and you're thinking to yourself, maybe Kitty needs meds, or, I mean, yeah, I'll be honest, the kitty that got out, she's a little rotund, so I'm not terribly worried about her um starving, but she still needs to eat, but a couple days it'll be okay as long as there's water available. That'll be fine. um but if it seems like you're not seeing Kitty, or you have cameras and you have seen the cat, but you're like, how am I ever going to get my hands on this cat? That's when you consider the option of live traps. And you can pick up your own. These are often called have a heart traps or live traps, wildlife traps. Um, they have doors that propped open, they step on a paddle and they close. It doesn't hurt the animal, but it traps them. These are great. I have two. Not everyone owns one, but they're, if you check around, depending on where you live, some rescues have them, some rescues will loan them, some rescues will come out and set them up for you. Um, so if you have one or can get one, they run around $50, which, depending on your income status, that might be worth it, might be something you can afford. I have two. Um, and when my cat was out for after the second day, and I had seen her on one of my cameras, I had seen her, and I was like, okay, fine, it's time for me to get the live traps out. So be ready with the live traps. If you are going to set a live trap, do be aware you need to put it somewhere where it's not going to be in direct sun, and you've got to make it be sort of shaded or covered and cave-like, because you want it to feel like a place where the cat wants to go, and then you bait it with food so the cat's going to go in. I mean, don't put it in the middle of the driveway. This is not going to work. I put mine on the porch. I actually had two, and I put one on each side and propped them open, put food. So one of them I have is a two-door trap, so it's like a tunnel, so it can close. The other one's a one-door trap, but it doesn't matter. You can set these up and see how that's going to go. Now, when I did this, sometimes be prepared to catch everything under the sun besides the cat you're looking for. Yes, I caught possum twice and a possum, not the cat named Possum. I caught an opossum twice. Probably was the same opossum, and also caught one of my own other cats who see this one. I'm confident. If he goes out, he's going to come back. I call for him, he comes back. This is not something I'm worried about. But he got himself trapped in there, and he just kind of sat there. Oh, and then another one got himself trapped in there, and he wound up spending several hours in there. But he had food, so it's not that bad, right? Anyway, so you have to actually monitor live traps. And what I usually do, what I've done with those is I often actually close them so they can't get trapped in there during the day if it's really hot, just for their safety. Um, but that's neither here nor there. So the most important part in all of this, though, when you get to the place where you're like, okay, it's been several days, what am I supposed to do? This is it. You don't give up. So a story about a cat that I had many, many, many years ago, way before Mew Mew House was born. Um, we had a cat that was very, very skittish. Liked exactly one person. There were three adults and one child living in the house at the time, and the cat only liked one person. Cat managed to get out. She was missing for 5.5 weeks. We thought we saw her crossing the road, so we set up a live trap on the other side of the street, and we caught her overnight. And she was fine. She was skinny, but she was fine. So don't give up. All right. If it's been weeks, that's okay. Cat might come back. If it's been weeks, though, you do have to prepare yourself for the fact that maybe the cat won't come back. But don't give up. All right. So the story of this one, this is a wonderful rotund little kitty named Mommy, and she's got a tipped ear, and I talked a few weeks ago about what tipping was, but she was clearly a TNR at some point, so she had been trapped from a feral colony, but she was seen to be able to become a house cat, and she is, but she's really shy. She's not real comfortable around people, but she likes other cats, and that's great. For whatever reason, last week she darted out the door when I had my arms full, and so she's got out and she ran off, and I tried to grab her, and she ran past me. I almost had her, but she ran past me, and then she was gone. And how a cat that's that spherical could get out, I'm not entirely sure. But I moved the cameras around, and I did see her a couple times on the camera. And then I had the live traps going, and I caught the opossums, and I caught other cats, and she wasn't having any part of it. The good news was, after 5 days, she was hungry. I mean, she was hungry. And so I saw her on the camera, and then I went outside, and I could hear her meowing. She has a very distinctive meow. She meows like she's been, smoking a pack a day. It's hilarious. Now. Anyway, so she was meowing, so I meowed back, and we spent probably an hour meowing at each other. And I had three different kinds of treats, and I was tossing them all around me. And she finally came up to me and got within range, and I grabbed her. I was actually able to grab her, but it took a long time. And that's why I can't stress enough. Being patient is everything. I was able to grab her inside. I don't know if you can see some of these scratches here, and she got me there. She got me pretty good. My hand was pretty tore up, but got her back inside. And even though she doesn't care for humans that much, as soon as she was back inside, she was headbutting everyone else and really glad to be home. And now I can pet her again. So everything's fine. We just have to remind ourselves to be cautious at the door if she's around. And we try to be cautious anyway. She's one cat I never expected to go for the door, but she did. So, which is a whole nother lesson for another day. Just, never underestimate the ability of your cat to get out the door if it really wants to. All right. So that's my thing for today. My little bit of information about what you can do when your cat gets out. Hopefully this is useful to you. If it has been weeks, I should add, if it has been weeks, then yeah, posters might be good if you have a neighborhood where that works. Use Facebook, neighborhood neighborhood groups and such to try to track down your cat. But and if you can do it, if you have done it already, make sure your cat is spayed or neutered so that you don't wind up with extra cats. And also, if you can swing it, get them microchipped and make sure the microchip is registered to you. Just because you have the microchip doesn't mean that they know that the cat belongs to you. So keep that in mind if you can do it at all. Mommy is microchipped, so that would have been okay too. And all the more reason also to keep your cats up to date on the vaccines, even if they're indoor cats, because they can go out. If they get out and they're not vaccinated, that could be trouble. So keep that in mind. If you liked what I had to say today, please like and share this video wherever you're watching from. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'm gonna go give mommy some pets now because she deserves it. And I will see you